Hi, it's Andy.
Hi, it's Dave.
Hi, it's Kirk.
Welcome to the ADK Rock and Metal channel. And today is definitely going to be a rock conversation as we are doing our breakdown, dissection, pulling apart of the classic track by AC/DC with If You Want Blood. So this came off of the Highway from Hell album from 1979. The band was only formed in 1973. It was also the last album to feature Bon Scott on vocals. It was produced by Mutt Lange, which is interesting because obviously he was a big producer back in the 80s. Did things like Pyromania, Hysteria with Def Leppard, which were massive sellers as well. And I remember this song purely, or the way I found out about the song was not necessarily from an AC/DC album, it was actually because it was in the Empire's Record film. So anyone that doesn't know that, it's a classic film. We've got Liv Tyler in it, but it's definitely a film of what I would say late 90s and talks about record stores and stuff. But they all jam out with and rock out in this record store to "If You Want Blood," which just why I remembered it and thought it'd be a good one for us to review. Now, the way we do our breakdowns is we've all gone away, we've watched the video, we've dissected it into 1 minute blocks. We're going to play those 1 minutes for you, and then we're going to talk about each section after that. So here is the first minute of If You Want Blood by AC/DC for you at home. Okay, there we go. First minute in. Now, AC/DC is always going to be a challenge to talk about multiple sections of a song because they're not the most diverse band out there as far as like lots of different, especially when we've just been talking about System of a Down and Suicidal Tendencies and these massive like songs that have got all these different, about 400 different sections to them. And now we get If You Want Blood and AC/DC. So, to me, it's that punctuation points. They're really strong about dynamics. AC/DC. They do these core basic riffs, standardized drumming, but they know how to punctuate to get your energy levels up. It's got a classic build up for what I kind of think about of AC/DC. They love to just build up to their first verses. It's bluesy. It's got that. It's that great live band in a small venue kind of shot music video. It's almost like you'd expect to see that in your local gig sort of thing going on. This is the sort of band you'd expect to see at the time. It's got the verse is just a natural hook to it. It's not like we would think about, whereas now we'd say it's got to have a really strong hook. It's a natural hook. It earworms you really early on that verse. It's just catchy. So yeah, I really love the first minute of it. Andy, your thoughts?
Yeah, I love Bon Scott era AC/DC, although I got into the band sort of 82 when For Those About to Rock came out. But obviously you work backwards from that point and there's a lot to delve into. And yeah, I love this sort of period of the band. I didn't realise it was one of Bon Scott's last album appearances. But yeah, the opening minute, the video is well shot. It's a live performance, but I really like the lighting and it is well shot and well captured. I'm surprised that Malcolm Young plays the main riff to start the song. Knowing the sort of the dynamic and the sort of format of the band, you'd thought it'd be the other way around. I know Angus does the leads, but Malcolm Young sort of starts the song, and Angus is sort of doing the punctuations. But yeah, classic AC/DC, isn't it?
I think one of the things to think about with Malcolm Young, he never got really he never gets talked about within AC/DC circles because everyone talks about Angus and his flamboyant playing, but Malcolm has to hold that low end. He's not given. He's never talked about it as being like one of a great rhythm guitar player, but actually he's a phenomenal rhythm guitar player because he knows exactly what is needed for that song. That you can just sit there and play those parts to allow Angus to go out there. And I'm sure if he really needed to, he could go off and play some amazing, like really complex stuff. But he knows exactly what needs to be delivered. And I think, yeah, he's just one of those great guitarists that unfortunately sorely missed. But Kirk.
Yeah, the opening riff might be rock and roll in flavor, but the palm muted technique is proto thrash metal. Everybody from Venom to Megadeth took inspiration from AC/DC and just made it a bit darker, really, didn't they? And faster. Yeah, straight away, great riff. And it just shows you at that time everyone was playing in standard tuning, and they don't actually play that many power chords, do they? AC/DC. They're really just taking the 12-bar blues, and there's a lot of treble on the amp gain, and yeah, it's one of those straight away. If I was watching this live, I'd be fucking well into it. Yeah, there's it's classic AC/DC. The song, isn't it? I think when I did my research, I think they first played this or a song called "If You Want Blood" on a live album that came out in 1978 at the Apollo Glasgow.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, Dave, on the 1979 album Highway to Hell, it's on side B of that, isn't it?
It is, yeah. So that was the official release of it, but it was off
yeah,
an album called If You Want Blood.
I think I had heard it before we'd done this, but yeah, it's AC/DC, isn't it? It's hard to dislike this.
They've got a distinctive sound, haven't they? Okay, let's move on. This is minutes 1 to minute 2 for you back home.
And you got the lust. If you want blood, you got it. If you want blood, you got it. Blood on the streets, blood on the rocks, blood in the gutter. Every last drop you want blood. You got it. Yes, you have. It's animal, living in the human zoo. Animal, the shit that they toss to you. Feeling like a Christian, locked in a cage, thrown to the
Okay, there we go. So this is the first chance we get to hear the actual chorus, the big sing-along. If you want blood. And then everyone sing along. You got it. I mean, it's great. It's a sing-along chorus. And you know that by the end of it, you've got gang vocals on there. You get to the end of that chorus. It's it. You know the song now. You've had your verse. You've had your chorus. There ain't going to be much more to that. That's it. You're done. And you're just going to have a bit of repeat, a bit of solo in there. There's no complexity apart from that. But all I do like is it's all open chord. And then the chorus is split into almost two parts. It almost doubles up that chord, like down on the streets, blood on the rocks, blood on the bed, and then it's back to the if you want blood. So I love how they just do that because they could have easily just sang if you want blood, you got it all the way to the end, and people would have been fine with it. So I liked how they split that up. But it is literally two chords. But it's that the whole way through the chorus. That's all it is. And that's why AC/DC are the most famous band for playing about 5 chords in their entire catalogue. Andy, over to you.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I haven't got too much to sort of add to the song, more about the video, but that's an interesting point about the chorus. I've never thought about it like that, but it is. The chorus could just have been the one line, but there's almost like a mini verse in the middle of it. Where where Bon Scott's asking everybody where they want the blood. Do they want it on the rocks or on the streets? Where do you want the blood? It's very clever that. But my sort of comments regarding this sort of section of the video, he loves playing to the camera, doesn't he? There's a lot of shots where it's a live performance, and the majority of the time he is looking at or very very looking straight down the camera lens. Performing to the audience. He was a fantastic frontman, and like Malcolm, sorely missed. And it was before I even got into rock and metal when he passed away. But you know, it was interesting sort of reading the story and his history, and you know, nothing away from Brian Johnson, but I don't think he matches Bon Scott in my personal opinion as the AC/DC frontman.
Yeah, he looks like a cast member from Mad Max, doesn't he, with that sleeveless denim jacket? But you're right. But then he like poses for the camera like a rock star, doesn't he? So
He's a rock star, yeah.
yeah, yeah. The only thing missing is him winking at the camera. But does anyone think Angus around this era looks like a diminutive Mick Jagger? I think he looks like Mick Jagger. And Bon Scott's voice is like a cross between Rod Stewart and Robert Plant. It's very distinctive. The chorus is definitely longer than you expect. Easy to remember after one listen. I actually hear that English blues rock band Free, did the song All Right.
Yeah.
They were doing this as early as like 72, 73, weren't they? So yeah, it's a really good chorus, that as well. As I said, it's extended beyond what you'd expect it to be, and it's not quite as repetitive as that song that they did, Shot Down in Flames, which is fucking a great song, but it's just literally shot down in flames, shot down in flames. He just keeps repeating it, doesn't it?
Ain't it a shame? Don't forget that bit.
Oh, okay, yes, yeah.
You were shot down in flames.
Yeah,
but they like to repeat. I mean, come on, they did TNT. Dynamite TNT. Come on. You should be all night long. You should be all night. Come on, they like to repeat.
Whatever the song title is, that's the chorus, isn't it?
It is, and they just repeat it.
That.
Okay, let's play you another minute of the song. This is minute 2 to minute 3 for you at home.
On the second page, if you want blood, you got it. If you want blood, you got it. Blood on the street, blood on the rocks, blood in the gutter. Every last drop you want blood, you got it.
Okay, there we go. So we get the second chorus. I mean, it's basically it's a good head bopping track. So by this point in the song, I mean, this was one of those ones where on a lot of time when we break these videos down, I'll get to a minute's worth and I'll stop and I'll just make some notes again at the end of that minute, or just to make sure I've got all my notes and I don't miss anything. I didn't need to on this one because you can just let this play and just make your notes as you go, because it's so easy, so repetitive. We get this cool little blues rock solo at this point. It's full of expression. It almost felt like a jam rather than what we talk about like a structured, well thought out solo. It was a great solo, but it just feels like it was an almost off the cuff, feeling it like a live, just having it off the cuff. Yeah, like I said, off the cuff solo. But Andy, thoughts?
At this stage, we mentioned earlier about the gang vocals. So Malcolm Young and bass player Cliff Williams also joining on the chorus. If you want blood, but these are things that sort of stand out for me in music videos, and we'll come to it even more prominently in another one we do later, I'm sure. But I can't believe these things are missed in sort of like the video edit. Cliff Williams, he doesn't make it to the mic in time for the his backing vocal bits on more than one occasion on this. And you're thinking, number one, he should be on the ball. And number two, Why is that taking the final edit of the video? Just nitpicking.
Back then, they don't care about that. Back now, we care about that.
Yeah. That's probably the reason. It's done. It's in the can. Don't worry about it. But as you say, 40 years later, when
it was shot on film,
analysing the video, we're going to pick up on those sort of things.
Well, shot on film, it's a lot harder to edit. If it's digital footage, you can just go and cut and edit. They would have to actually splice the film together. So they're like, nah, let's just leave it on the film. It's fine.
Yeah.
Kirk?
We said Kirk Hammett of Metallica and Kerry King of Slayer just play the same solo. Angus has never bothered to go beyond 12-bar blues, has he? It's just the standard rock and roll solo. I mean, you'd think that he might look at what Eddie Van Halen was doing around this time and incorporate some finger tapping or some of those techniques. Not at all. It's just pentatonic blues every time, isn't it? Like Jimmy Page, but Jimmy Page, I would say, is a superior guitar player. Yeah, nothing really to add. It's what you'd expect from an ACD solo. It doesn't really stand out for me.
So for me, AC/DC are the McDonald's of rock. Because you know exactly what you're going to get. Whatever you put on, it's going to be fine. It ain't going to be too expensive. It ain't going to be amazing, but it ain't going to be shit either. It's going to fill you up and it's going to do the job. But and that's the same with McDonald's. Wherever you go, you know you can get your Big Mac and it's going to taste like a Big Mac. It ain't going to set the world on fire, but sometimes you just want a bit of Big Mac, don't you? And that is AC/DC down to the T. It's like, it's got nothing special about it, but it's great when you especially want it. And yeah, do you know what? Could you imagine listening to like 8 albums worth of AC/DC in a row? You could. Just put a 3-minute song on and put it on repeat. You'd be fine. It's the same fucking thing. But oh no, AC fans will hate that. But okay, let's do minutes 3 to minute 4 for you at home. Okay, at this point, we get this Bon Scott scream. Now, he does this twice. He does it in this one, and he does it a bit later. And the first one he does coming out of this sort of solo area feels weak. It's not a strong scream, like the one he does a bit later on is much better. It almost reminded me of like Roger Daltrey from The Who. And when he goes, wow, that big power rock scream, and it's almost like Bon Scott does it and goes, oh fuck, I've smoked too many fags, can't do that shit anymore. And that's it wasn't strong enough there for me when he came out of that. But then we have this cool little bridge that he does vocally, and it's full of sass, full of like real playfulness in his voice, and he's got a real kind of, as you said, Andy, acting up to that camera. He's really going for it at this point. Before we go back into the chorus, which is basically the last. In fact, yeah, we've got the last sort of 40 seconds to play, which is mainly the chorus. But yeah, that bridge was cool. I really liked the bridge. It's just his scream was a bit lackluster. Andy,
from a video point of view, the last sort of minute or so, I really like. But the point is that Angus Young doesn't stop moving, doesn't stop headbanging, doesn't stop doing that sort of, I don't know, sort of knee bend thing that he does all the time, just constantly throughout. But I remember,
but I would say Malcolm doesn't stop moving either, except for he just looks like he's got Parkinson's the whole time. That's Malcolm Young's dance routine. He just says that. But anyway, carry on, Andy. Sorry.
You don't look at. Yeah, you're absolutely right, I'm sure. But I didn't notice Malcolm Young in the video, apart from the very beginning where he introduces the song, because you're constantly focusing on Bon Scott playing the camera and Angus Young headbanging.
Yeah.
But at this stage of the video, they're recreating that classic image from, I assume it's a live album of the same name, where Angus Young is in. I mean, I remember this from when I was a kid and being wow, that's a graphic image. Angus Young impaled through the stomach with his guitar with blood all over his white school shirt. I mean, that is something I remember from being a young boy. And they've recreated that in this video, which I don't know the story behind the album cover, but I don't think it's a still from this video shoot. But very, very powerful image that, and fits the song.
Cool. Kirk.
Yeah, the one of my best mates, we used to have a running joke. Sometimes he'd greet me and do that Angus Young movement, he's like hopping with his guitar, but he'd do it with like this death metal voice. It was really strange. I might get him to do it now when I see him over Christmas, see if he remembers doing that. But yeah, it rocks out. I agree. That took me by surprise to show Angus impaled on the machine head of his guitar, and makes sense, doesn't it? Given the song title, and I don't know if people knew it at the time. They were on the verge of becoming briefly the biggest band in the world, because by 1980, Back in Black did that shift 11 million copies within like 4 years. I think America, the USA kind of adopts AC/DC as their rock band for a while, doesn't it? It's like, In God We Trust, and they have them on the dollar. That was part of the merch, wasn't it? Or the branding it'd have in Rock We Trust. Yeah, this is, there's not really that much more to say than fair play to them and the influence that they've had on rock. I would say the best band that really took on what AC/DC were doing and made it their own was Guns N' Roses, because they added in like the hair metal element and the Van Halen parts, didn't they? But if you listen to Guns N' Roses, clearly AC/DC, and then you've got a bit of Aerosmith and even Sex Pistols and Van Halen, and that Appetite for Destruction album, fucking everyone on that, didn't they?
No.
Apart from Andy.
Apart from Andy, Andy's the
I think even our household had a copy of it. And yeah, that's it's good to see that AC/DC certainly influenced GNR.
Okay, let's play the very last 40 seconds of the song there for you at home. Okay, so really what we get here for this last 40 seconds, it's a sing and repeat chorus, isn't it? So if you want blood, you got it. And it just kind of keeps going. Bit of an off-the-cuff solo, and of course the classic fade outs, which is where you do when you have no idea how to finish a freaking song. Let's just fade it out. That'll do. Andy, thoughts?
Nothing more to add, really, to be honest.
Awesome. Kirk?
Yeah, I'll second that. Every song they've ever written, the chorus, you're going to know it after one listen of the song. And that's the same here, isn't it? It's basically no wonder 50 to 70,000 people turn out to see this band even now. And it's always a good range age as well, and gender mix. Because really, sometimes you think, oh, it's like, masculine pub rock. The number of women that listen to this music is incredible. It's like with Pantera. It's like, you're a woman and you like Pantera. It's like the hard rock version of that. I mean, this is for blokes, isn't it?
It's interesting because AC/DC are that kind of classic party rock band. Everyone knows the songs. You can sing along with them. They've had so many big hits, easy to do. And I think it's interesting you mentioned Guns N' Roses, because obviously Axl filled in for a 2-year period on their tours, didn't he?
Yeah.
When Brian Johnson had to sort of step away. Obviously, Brian Johnson's back now, but he had to step away because of his hearing.
That'd be terrible. I would be. I don't know how that went down with AC/DC fans, but I think that was a terrible combination. I've not seen.
Oh, I agree.
On the ticket, it looks good, though, doesn't it, to have two legends? Like you say, it might not work musically, but from an entertainment point of view, it does make sense to have two huge names coming together.
I mean, surely they could have got someone else that was better.
Yeah.
Than Axl.
I
can't remember what's the guy's name that did. That was in Free and Bad Company.
Yeah, he actually reformed with Queen, didn't he?
He did.
He
did a whole thing with Queen. He would have been much better.
Yeah.
I just can't think of what his name is right now, but he would have had the vocal chops to be able to pull off.
Imagine if they'd have got Roger Daltrey in.
God,
that have worked. Probably would have done.
It probably have done it, whether it got it, but Axl Rose is just not. Yeah, I wouldn't have done that. Bad call there. But there you go, AC/DC, and If You Want Blood. Now, if you enjoyed our videos today, please do like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you on the video sometime very soon. Take care.